All right, man.
How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Lieutenant Dan, here with another Unintentional Grounding live. I swear you're going to have, like, Lieutenant Dan that's not going to be able to talk for, like, a week, 2 weeks, because I'm just killing myself with these streams. But day 3 is coming up in about an hour and a half, and the Atlanta Falcons have 7 picks. With me today are special guests, the Don and the real PattMan. How's it going, gentlemen?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing today?
What's good? How y'all doing today? Day 3 of the draft. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. It's it's been something. It's been something up to this point, am I right? But we're going to talk a little bit about the first 2 picks, and then we're going to talk about what the Falcons could potentially do today with 7 picks, 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, and 1 in the 7th. Hell, man, it's a lot of draft capital that could potentially be used on some depth talent. But let's get into the first round picks very quickly. We don't need to make any crazy assessments for that, but basically, the Falcons decide that they're going to make the Great Wall of Atlanta in front of Matt Ryan. They got themselves Caleb McGray in a trade up. Caleb McGarry. I'm going to have to get used to saying his name. But Caleb McGarry, Washington offensive tackle, very smart kid, very technically sound, a great run blocker, needs to work on his pass protection against speed rushers. And with the 14th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons, with their first pick, decided to take Chris Lindstrom, a right guard from BC, another mauler. Not necessarily technically sound, but is a rough, angry man who likes to get up to the second level and beat people up. So, with that being said, initial thoughts, Don, on the 2 offensive linemen drafted in the first round.
Yeah, about those.
You don't have to be professional. We're all friends here. We're all just sitting down having a chat. So you just let me know, man.
Well, when we picked Chris Lindstrom at 14, I was like, at first, my first initial reaction was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, we all thought that we was either gonna get Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, or we was gonna get Zach Allen. Now we knew that we was gonna potentially get a tackle, okay? Because a lot of people not sold on Ty Sombrello. So we thought, okay, Cody Ford or Jawan Taylor. So we knew the Falcons went to Boston College and worked out Chris Lindstrom and Zach Allen. But we thought that the Falcons executives, they was more high on Zach Allen than Chris Lindstrom. So when we picked them, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what's going on? Like, why are we not focusing on the defensive side of the ball? Because we did a lot of work and put a lot of money on the offensive side of the ball during free agency." So I had to calm myself down. I had to think about Brown. I guess they're not really sold on Brown, and Matt Ryan has 4 more years left on his current deal. And I'm pretty sure they're going to probably re-sign him or extend him even longer than that because Matt Ryan already said he want to play 7 more years. And Arthur Blank, he also said that, well, he wants Matt Ryan to be vertical. He plays his best when he's vertical, meaning that if he's not getting pressure, he's not getting sacked. Matt Ryan is pretty much a EVP, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So, as the owner of the Atlanta Falcons, he wants to continue to keep his investment in Matt Ryan healthy and play for a long time for this franchise. So that's what I got out of that pick. But when we picked at 31, when we traded down and we got Caleb McGarry, that that pretty much pissed me off. And I'm saying to myself, okay, well, why did we lose our second and third? I'm not Caleb McGarry, he will be a good tackle, okay? He's gonna bring a lot to this team. But to sacrifice a second and third round pick for him, I just thought that was not a good move at all. That's just my opinion.
Pat, your thoughts, just quick thoughts on the two selections in the first round, and did this fix problems? Is this a now thing or is this a later thing?
Well, initially I was shocked, to say the least, man. I thought there was going to be more of an emphasis to be placed on, the pass rush, the defense as a whole, man, because the defense has not been good. While the offense has consistently been top 10, defense has been one of the worst in the league. So to me, it made sense to invest in the defense. But just go back what Don was talking about with Arthur Blank's comments about he wanting to play Matt Ryan. He wants Matt Ryan to be vertical and not horizontal, meaning land on the ground. Matt Ryan, over the past 5 years, and I actually got this data from Falcon fans, and I actually put it together myself. Over the past 5 years, Matt Ryan was the 10th most hit quarterback in the league. If you calculate dropbacks, he is the 6th most hit quarterback in the league. And it doesn't take a guy that doesn't know a lot about football to understand that if you hit the quarterback too much, eventually it's going to wear them out. Eventually it's going to get to a point where they're going to get jittery, especially as they get older, man, because that's not a way that you want to age the game. And I mean, we've seen teams like the Saints and the Patriots extend Drew Brees and Tom Brady's career because they don't have to worry about getting hit, man. Those quarterbacks aren't getting hit. They're handing the ball off. They're getting the ball out of their hands in 2.5 seconds. They don't have to worry about they're avoiding a lot of hits, so they're able to play for a long period of time. And now we're seeing that same transition with Matt Ryan. Me personally, man, I look at Chris Lindstrom. He was the best guard in the draft by far. The most talented guard Matt Ryan has ever had. Just think about that for a minute. Just think about it. We went from 1 year of having Chris Chester when Shanahan was here. Then we replaced Chris Chester with what? Brandon Fusco? Like,
It hasn't been a good line.
But I'm saying the talent level from Chester to now Chris Lindstrom is like night and day, man. Like, this is by far the best right guard Matt Ryan has ever had, talent-wise. And you're going to put him next to a guy like Alex Mack, who's still a stud. I don't care what nobody say about Alex Mack. I mean, that's disgusting. I mean, let's just think about it. The Falcons tweeted out a picture of Lindstrom and McGarry next to each other, next to Mack. That is a disgusting right side. I mean, talent-wise, it's pretty high, but you look at the personalities, those are 3 alpha dogs on the right side of your offensive line that just want to hurt people. So I'm pretty excited, man. I think you're going to see a ton more 3 tight end sets. I think the Falcons are going to try to bully teams. They're going to try to absolutely wear teams down. And I think they're going to have Matt Ryan operate off a shorter intermediate passing game, similar to how the Patriots use Tom Brady, similar to how the Saints use Drew Brees. I think the ball is going to be out of Matt Ryan's hands quick. I think we're going to have a greater emphasis on running the ball. And I think Matt Ryan is probably going to have one of his best, most efficient seasons by far in 2019, especially if we can get some of these guys up to speed. I know a lot of folks don't want to rush the rookies in. I don't want to rush them in either. But I kind of feel like Dan Quinn is gonna probably roll with the vets from the beginning. But I think as the season winds on, I think you're gonna see those two guys get inserted into the starting lineup. Um, I just think, man, you can't. Yes, it's good to plan for the future, but hey, man, people are gonna want to see something from those guys in 2019. They're not gonna want to be like, oh, you're just basically redshirting these two guys. They're gonna want to see those guys on the field because of all the hype and stuff like that. So I think the Falcons are gonna try to lean on their vets, and then once these guys are up to speed, then I think they're gonna roll with them, which is unfortunate, man. Tyson Braille's my guy, man. I like Tyson Braille. I like what he does. I like what he did when he was given opportunity. But it's pretty clear, man, now, especially with the McGarry pick, that they view Tyson Braille as one of those movable chess pieces. A guy that can play left tackle, right
Basically
tackle,
a Ben
tight
Garland
end.
again.
Pretty
It's
much.
another Ben Garland at this point. And not to cut you off, but without saying a really long explanation, I think that myself sitting here, not just Lieutenant Dan, the Unintentional Grounding host, but Lieutenant Dan, the fan of the Atlanta Falcons, as a very quick, like, get to the point type of thought, is like, the first round was disappointing, but it was not disappointing in the way that it's like, oh no, we didn't get guys that were good. It's disappointing as in McGarry is not going to be an immediate starter. He's not. He's going to have to take a lot of bumps because he has problems against speed rushers. He has problem with his technique, his feet technique, his hands technique. He is more of a run blocker than he is a pass blocker. And people in here, I think, have gotten to this point where they, if you drink enough, you will get drunk and everything looks pretty. And I think fans have drunk themselves into a stupor trying to justify the McGarry pick when it doesn't need any justification. You can be sober and see the reality of this pick, which is it is a 2020 pick. It's a 2020 pick. It is a futures pick. It is these two boys are going to have to take their lumps and they're going to have to grow and mature very quickly because we have a spot in the league year of 2019 that is nothing but our division. So these guys will have to start very quickly and they will have to grow very quickly to be able to play against the division, or else they will need to step aside, sit on the bench, and let guys like Brown and Sombrilo take the load during those games because they're not ready for the Saints twice, the Panthers twice, and the Bucks twice in a span of 6 weeks or 7 weeks. It's just not, you can't pretend to fathom that these kids are going to step in, and they're kids. They're not grown men yet. They are kids. These kids are not going to step in day one and just start blowing the league to shreds. The closest one that's ready to go is Lindstrom. And the biggest problem with the Falcons' offensive line last year was the right guard. It wasn't the right tackle. That is a fallacy. That is a lie spread by Falcons media trying to subliminally put small plays here or small plays there that were bad from Sombrilo or bad from Schrader and try to make you guys think that was the real issue, when the real issue was that the right guard was just nowhere to be seen. It was a turnstile. All right?
People don't want to understand that because everybody loved Ben Garland because he was in the military and everything.
Great
and
fan favorite.
Person.
That's
wonderful. And we can respect that. But people got to stop kidding themselves.
It's a business.
Yeah, Ben Garland was not good on that offensive line.
Neither really was Fusco, to be honest, either, or Zane Bettles. All three of those options eventually showed you what they are, which is journeymen, guys that are not supposed to be full-time starters, guys that are not supposed to be there for the long term. So to get that out of the way, the first round was disappointing in the fact that this is not for 2019. This is for 2020, 2021, 2022. This is a futures investment. And you know what? It ain't a shiny nickel. It ain't a shiny dime. It ain't shiny pennies, okay? This is nitty-gritty. And this is good. This is good. These are good selections, but they are not impact players right at this very right at this very moment. And I don't care what any of the grounders have to say in the chat about me saying, BS or, oh, this isn't going to work. These are good picks. It's just disappointing that these picks are going to be, to see the end results of these picks will be a year, 2 years, maybe even 3 years down the road. And it's not going to help us in 2019 as a immediate upgrade. It's probably not going to be really in our system until 2020 when they get a full season of workout, when they get a full season to do what they're going to do. No pick in round 2. How disappointed were you guys about that because of the trade? Don?
Hold on, say that again. I apologize.
No, I was just saying no pick in round 2 and round 3. How disappointed were you with that?
Well, like I said earlier, like I was upset because second and third round, we normally, if you look at the history on the Dan Quinn, minus 2015 when we drafted Jalen Collins, but that wasn't at our fault. That was Jalen Collins' issue. We normally draft well in those rounds. You look at 2016, we drafted Deion Jones in the second round. Those, when you pick in the second or third round, you pretty much drafting starters. And for us to just, I guess, sacrifice those picks for McGarry, like we kind of now have to hit on all cylinders on these next 7 picks that we have today. We can't make mistakes. We cannot make any mistakes on picking someone and they don't pan out. Even yes, we know that most of these picks going to be for depth purposes, but if somebody goes down, we relying on these guys to step in to do their job. So,
Phase BB Cox, thank you for the $2 donation in the super chat. Dan, you sound like a broken record 4 days in a row. Okay, I mean, if that's the way that you want to say it, I mean, I get it. Like, what would you like me to say? What sweet nothings would you like me to whisper in all of your ears, the grounders, that apparently, oh yeah, Lindstrom's going to go in here and just kick ass. And McGarry's going to come in here and just take it and dominate. We don't know that. We don't know that at all. And I'm not going to sit back here after doing a long ass Sombrilo tape on Twitter and Twitch. Doing this tape, showing the progress that Sombrilo made, and then go, yeah, McGarry's just going to step in here and just take his job. Like, come on. Like, that's absolutely asinine. So, anywho, no picks in round 2 and 3. Kind of felt like a waste. And now here we are, round 4 through 7. What do you think the Falcons can do to add depth or add impact players, Pat?
I think right now, if you're looking at the roster, start with the secondary. I think they're pretty much set at the safety position. I think they're going to roll with 5 safeties this year. Cornerback-wise, there's already 4 corners that we have. We still need that 5th guy. I think they're going to find that 5th guy either today. Well, they're going to have to find him today because it's the last day of the draft. I think it's going to be either one of the 4th-round picks or one of the top 5th-round picks. Linebacking core is kind of a toss-up. There's a report that came out that we were trying to trade up for Quincy Williams, the brother of Quentin Williams that went to the Jets. And I had Falcons media kind of up in arms because that dude, they're like, you're trading up for him, but hey, this Dan Quinn we're talking about. So linebacker is obviously still on the table, according to that report. And then if you look at the defensive line, man, they could at least then add another end to the rotation, potentially even another defensive tackle, man. Guys to keep an eye out on is, guys like Austin Bryant, Joe Jackson, and Gerald Willis, just simply because their old defensive coordinator is now our defensive line coach, so there's a connection there. And then on offense, man, believe it or not, and this is going to make a lot of Falcons fans mad, but I got to say it, they could still add another offensive lineman, dog, because right now we don't really have a reliable backup center. So they can still add a center. I know it's going to make a lot of folks upset. We're probably going to add a running back, just simply because I don't know how high they are. Kenyon Barner, outside of his return abilities. We have 5 wide receivers on the roster right now. They normally roll with 6, but they could just keep those 5 guys and just roll with 4 tight ends, which means they could also draft another tight end. So I think you're going to see either running back, wide receiver, tight end, not all 3, or at least 1 defensive lineman, a corner, and potentially a linebacker. Just that's how I would guess.
I
But I could be
love
wrong.
how the chat is coming at me for being disappointed in the picks that we had, justifying what I'm saying, and then coming back and saying that, oh, giving Matt Ryan more time to throw is a bad idea. Thinking emoji. Like, are we serious right now? Like, are we serious right now that we're gonna be like, oh yeah? I like the picks. I've said it 100 times. I like the picks. I just am disappointed that we spent so much on a guy that is going to have to learn for a full year. And you guys think that it's just going to slot right in. Like, that is hilarious. That's absolutely hilarious. I like these picks. I'm not going to love these picks. Not until they prove that they can be solid. Because just for reminder for everyone, the Falcons under Dan Quinn haven't taken an offensive lineman in the first round, and now we double dipped on it. So,
Well,
and their track record with offensive linemen, by the way, is bad. Drafting them. So,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this to the chat, man. I understand what everybody's trying to say. All right, but what you also have to understand is it goes both ways. Do we need to get younger for the long term for Matt Ryan's sake? Yes, absolutely. But the Falcons are in a position where they don't necessarily have to throw these guys immediately to the wolves. That's why I said earlier, I think that they're going to start the vets to begin the year. But I think Dan Quinn is going to want to get those young guys on the field because they have to take lumps. Either they're going to take lumps this year or next year. And, I know McGarry has some issues with, his footwork, and he's got issues against speed rushers and things like that. That's one of the reasons why I see the Falcons playing a lot of 2 or 3 tight end sets so that he's going forward blocking and not having to be asked to do a ton of pass protecting. And when he's in pass protecting, I think they're going to use one of the tight ends to help him chip and stuff like that.
It
There's
makes
ways
sense because they brought both of those guys. They're both blocking tight ends. Both of these free agents got brought back in, and they can now put them on the edge and do what they need to do with McGarry. There's no problem with that. My problem is the long-term situation here is that if Lindstrom and McGarry are taking lumps, that means that Matt Ryan is taking lumps. And much as, and look, again, like Pat just said, it goes both ways. It really does go both ways because if they're taking lumps, then they're gaining experience. But if they're also taking lumps, that means that Matt Ryan is most likely also taking lumps. So prepare yourselves for 2019 to be a bit of up and down. And I'm preparing you guys for that. I'm not being cynical. I'm not being a crappy fan. I'm not being a broken record. I'm just trying to get the point across. The time now is to sit back and go, I hope these prospects mature. Because if they do not mature and they take a long time to get where they need to be, Matt Ryan only has a handful of years left. And we will have to start the process all over again with a rookie QB. I'm not saying that we should have gone into free agency and spent top dollar on guards and centers and tackles. That's, that goes against my own philosophy of building through the draft and building for the future. But by doing so and having to rebuild the entire right-hand side of the line, you can't put both of them in at the same time. If you do that, you're asking for trouble. You really are. You're asking for trouble. You have to get Lindstrom secured for 2019. You have to get him playing at a high level in 2019. At least above average. And then you can put in McGarry. Or vice versa. You have McGarry start and you have Brown as the starting right guard. We'll see who wins in camp. But please don't come at me in the chat and be like, oh, man, see, Lieutenant Dan hates our picks, and, oh, he doesn't think that protecting Matt Ryan is a good idea. Just back up. Just back
And
up for a second.
people gotta understand. Just expectations are too high. Everybody got their expectations always high on first round picks. Just like the situation with Vic Beasley. Like these are not gonna if they pan out to be all Pro Bowl players. Fine, that's good. But we drafted these players to be role players. All right, yeah, you guys got to stay grounded. All right.
Yeah.
Expectations is that high. They say, "Oh, McGarry's going to go to the Pro Bowl this year." You're going to be disappointed.
Who's talking like that?
I'm just saying, some people just think that, all first round pick supposed to be Pro Bowl players.
That's actually most Falcons fans coming out here. Don's correct. Most Falcons fans are coming out here and saying, "Oh, see, we got both of these guys, and they're first rounders, and they need to start, and they're concerned on value still. See, we just drafted these kids." And we proved that value doesn't matter, because if value mattered, then McGarry would have been taken in the second round, but the Falcons knew they weren't going to be able to get him. So they traded up to go get McGarry, which is, if that's their plan, I'm okay with it. But it disappoints me because you got two rookie, one guard, one tackle, two rookie O-linemen, and you can't play them both at the same time. And the one that has the most work that needs to be done with them is going to have to sit, and that means that it's McGarry. McGarry has to sit. It has to be done. That's just that. That is just that. And then fans are like, no, McGarry has to start because value, because he's a first rounder. He's got the most issues. That means Sombrilo has to start. And for me, that means Sombrilo will be in there for most of the year, because Sombrilo is actually a good right tackle, but you guys don't understand that. Apparently, a lot of you guys don't understand that. I'm not talking about Pat and Don in here, by the way, because Pat and Don have seen the tape. They've already seen Sombrilo and what he can do. I showed it to them on Twitch. And I'm not going to replay that again. But just to clarify, if Lindstrom's starting, McGarry's not. And if McGarry's starting, then Lindstrom's not. You can't put two rookies on the end, because at the end of the day, you're going to get Matt Ryan hurt. You can't pretend that because of value, because they're both first rounders, that they're just going to start this year. That's not how that works. You're going to get Matt Ryan killed. You want him vertical, right? You want him vertical, right? Not horizontal. You don't want him laying on the ground, right? Well, then you ain't you ain't starting McGarry. He ain't gonna start. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
And if they want to justify the picks in a good way, like I've justified it, like, yes, it's about Matt Ryan. But you guys got to understand, we weren't good at all last year running the ball. So when we drafted these two players, I'm going to say this, like, it's going to help our run game, because both players, they are good at run blocking, and we normally run the ball to the right side, anyways.
I like how the fans in here, Daniel Woodell comes in. Sombrilo let Beasley go off. Remember that. Sombrilo also protected Matt Ryan. Sombrilo also protected Matt Ryan and was a force in the run game last year against not only the Arizona Cardinals, but also the Panthers, the Bucks, and what other game did we cover as well? The Packers. We covered all of those games, and there was only one sack that came from Sombrilo's side, and it was because of actually the right guard. It wasn't even because of the tackle. But because you don't tune in to the Twitch discussions, you don't see that kind of stuff, and that's not my fault. That's not my fault. I'll put some film on here, but I ain't gonna do a 9-hour Sombrilo film session.
I mean, I just don't understand why folks are bringing up stuff that happened 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, by that logic, basically what you're saying is you're saying that Vic Beasley is going to lead the league in sacks again this year. Like, you can't use that 2016 tape as a justification for why you don't believe. Tyson Brown's a young dude too, by the way. He's only like 26 years old.
He's only a year younger than I am. He's 27. He's 27 years old.
It's the same year. He's the same age as Jake Matthews. Dude is still young.
And
Yeah.
to
So
be honest, like every week that we watched him towards the end of the season, we saw him not only play right tackle for 3 games like a boss, but Jake Matthews got hurt for a whole series, and he went over to left tackle and dominated. And then he played left guard for the whole Bucks game. I didn't even try to cover that, but he was kicking Vita Vea's ass. He took McCoy and threw him to the ground. Okay?
he held Chandler Jones to a blank stat line when we played the Cardinals. Chandler Jones is a top 10 defensive end.
He played right guard for a tiny bit. He played right guard for a tiny bit, and it actually worked. Sombrilo is a jack of all trades and not a master of none. He is actually a master of quite a few positions if you allow him to sit and stay in that position. Like, what do you want? what do you want? So, like, okay.
Before you study a test, go study. Go watch the film. Just go watch the film on Todd Sabrello on the Twitch channel, and you're gonna pretty much see what we talking about. All right. Todd Sabrello is gonna start. He's gonna start week 1. And he probably is gonna end up playing the entire season. Now, we're gonna probably put McGarry in on a few drives or whatnot. You know, if we have a good lead, we'll probably bring him in to get him some experience. But you asking him to start, and I don't know if y'all seen our opponents this year. We plan to get some good DNs.
We're actually playing against, I believe, if Pat had the stats, we were playing against like the top half of the DNs from last year.
Everybody.
Also, real big shout out to 50 Millie, by the way, who was a huge driving force to say, hey, we need to hit up right tackle. And both of us, I think, both stood back. We both kind of talked about it a little bit about McGarry, and we were both like, this guy will be really good, but both of us don't want him to start. Not anytime soon. But man, is he going to be really good, like later. And that's where the disappointment comes in. You know? That's where the disappointment comes in, because you know that this guy will eventually take it over, but he's not going to take it over now. And McGarry is very talented. There's nitpicky things that need to be worked on. So, okay, we went on a rant. We shouldn't have done that. Great content though, but we shouldn't have done that. And I'm sorry for stepping on my co-host's toes today in Pat and the Don. Go check them out on Twitter. Make sure you check out the Don's Feel Like Sports podcast and make sure that you hit him up on Twitter as well, because he has the links to all of his stuff. Yes. So now that that's kind of out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the things that are going to be happening in the next 30 minutes. We actually have 2 picks in every single round except for the 7th, going for this point on. Compensatory picks in both the 5th and the 4th round. Regular picks in both of those rounds as well. And in the 6th round, we have a traded pick as well as our regular pick in that round as well. And you guys kind of listed off some of the things that are going to be happening, but who is one player? I'll go to each one of you, Don first, then Pat. Who is one player, offense or defense, that's still on the board that you would love to add to this group? Go.
Anthony Nelson. I know a lot of us got upset yesterday. Zach Allen got drafted to the Arizona Cardinals, and that's one player we really wanted. We wanted him to go to the first round of us, because we need to address the strong side defensive end position real bad. And I know a lot of people saying that we need a corner, or we need a linebacker, or we need a running back, or whatever the case may be. We have to address this strong side defensive end in this round. The first pick, if Anthony Nelson is still on the board when we pick, we got to take him. We just have to.
Pat, who's your guy, my man?
My guy, man, is Mr. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, DB Florida, man. I don't know why that man is still on the board, but hey, the way I see it, man, no matter who we add at this point on, it's very, very doubtful that they're going to immediately upgrade the pass rush. I think the pass rush is going to get upgraded by guys already on the roster and with better creativity and play calling from Dan Quinn taking over as the defensive coordinator anyways. But my thing is, man, since we can't immediately upgrade our pass rush, might as well upgrade the coverage on the back end, man. You know what I'm saying?
Gentlemen, I think both of those picks are actually amazingly swell. I see some people in the chat right now saying Voshawn Joseph, Jimmy Moreland, Hakeem Butler, Chauncey, Anthony Nelson, Joe Jackson, which are all special in their own right. And I think would also be all great. But there is a guy. The guy that I would really like to have. Can you guess that guy? I'm going to let Chat guess, but I'm going to let Don go ahead and try to guess it first, and then Pat will guess it. Don? Who's that guy?
I'm going to say it got to be a DB.
Nope.
It's not a DB. Okay.
Who's got the show running right now? You need to turn that down. But yeah, we got a hell of an echo. What's going on here?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, I actually kind of stopped a little bit, but Pat, you want to take a guess at this?
A guy that you really want. Oh, I know who it is. It's what's his name? Oh, why is his name not popping in my head? The wide receiver from Clemson, man. What's his name?
Renfro.
Yeah, Hunter Renfro. Yeah.
Yes, I want Hunter goddamn Renfro on this team.
Yeah, that's Dan's guy right there, man.
And you know, let's put it this way. Riley really cool. All right. Still hear that echo. God damn. But during this day. No, that's not working. Okay. Anyway, I'd take Hunter Renfro. I think there's plenty of time for a wide receiver like Hunter to come in. So. Yeah. Kind of where I'm saying. We're about 30 minutes away from the draft starting. So I will probably be stepping out of here now to go ahead and get ready for the long the long stream that we're going to be doing. But Don, Pat, thanks for coming in, man. I really appreciate you guys.
No problem, man.
Hey, man, absolutely. Hey, man, pretty sure Dad gonna tell you guys, man, we always gonna be in Discord. So, man, hit us up, man. We in there on another little chat, man. We can talk about the draft as it's going on.
Yep, I'll be in there right after this to talk to anyone that wants to come to the Discord and check it out. And talk to us in the voice chat or talk to us in the text chat. But my name is Lieutenant Dan. This was the Don from Field of Sports, and this also.
Can I plug something real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Plug.
Yeah, the Don Field of Sports podcast. We're gonna do a show tonight after day 3's over with. We're gonna have PattMan. He's gonna come on our show, and we're gonna talk about all the picks we're gonna the Falcons gonna take today. So join us tonight. It's gonna probably be around 8, 9-ish. So join us over there. Appreciate it.
Sorry, I was trying to type this out for someone, Chris Edwards, in here. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. All the links are in the description of the video, the Discord, the Twitch, the Instagram, the Twitter. Come and talk with us, and we'll chat you up and answer all your questions. We're going to be starting in about 20 minutes back here on. We're going to be starting 20 minutes back here on the show to start things up with Vash Lombardi and that group, and go from there. So thank you guys for coming through. Rise up, stay grounded, and 7 picks, man. We're going to cover those 7 picks for you. We'll see you guys in just a little bit. Peace.
Hey.